She was a teenage girl from a small village who rose to command armies and change the course of history. She claimed to hear divine voices guiding her to save France. But her life ended in flames, accused of heresy and condemned as a fraud. Over 6 centuries later, Joan of Arc remains one of history's most captivating figures. Was she truly a saint, or was there something far more complex at play? Today, we're diving into the mysteries, controversies, and conspiracies surrounding Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc was born around 1412 in the small village of Domremy in northeastern France. Her country was in turmoil, torn apart by the 100 Years' War. England occupied much of French territory, and the French crown's legitimacy hung by a thread. At just 13 years old, Joan claimed she began hearing divine voices, voices she believed were from Saints Michael, Catherine, and Margaret. Their message? Led France to victory and ensured Charles VII was crowned king. And that's exactly what she did. Despite her lack of military experience, Joan convinced Charles VII to give her an army. Her victories, most famously at Orléans in 1429, turned the tide of the war. But her meteoric rise made her dangerous enemies, and just 2 years later, she was captured, tried, and burned at the stake. Joan's trial is one of the most infamous in history, but it was far from fair. Conducted in 1431, it was orchestrated by the English and their allies to discredit Joan and undermine Charles VII's legitimacy. The charges? Heresy, cross-dressing, and defying the authority of the Church. Joan's refusal to wear women's clothing, a practical choice during her captivity, was weaponized against her. She stood firm, claiming her voices were divine and her mission ordained by God. But the political motives were clear. Joan wasn't just a prisoner, she was a symbol. By labeling her a heretic, the English sought to destroy that symbol. Here's where the mystery deepens. Some accounts suggest Joan's trial transcripts were manipulated. Eyewitnesses later testified to her courage and unwavering faith. So, were these voices truly divine, or something else entirely? The voices Joan heard are perhaps the most debated aspect of her story. Were they divine inspiration, auditory hallucinations caused by a medical condition like temporal lobe epilepsy? Or, as some conspiracy theories suggest, a carefully crafted manipulation by Charles VII and his court? There's no definitive answer. But what we do know is that Joan's voices and visions gave her an unshakable sense of purpose. Whether divine or psychological, they made her a figure of both awe and suspicion. Now let's talk about relics. In the 19th century, a charred rib was presented as a relic of Joan of Arc. But modern analysis revealed it belonged to an Egyptian mummy, not Joan. While no verified physical remains exist, places like her birthplace in Domremy and her execution site in Rouen remain significant pilgrimage destinations. These sites and artifacts keep her story alive, even as the mysteries persist. Joan of Arc's legacy is unparalleled. Canonized as a saint in 1920, she's become a symbol of courage, faith, and resistance against oppression. Her story has inspired countless novels, films, and even video games. George Bernard Shaw's play Saint Joan and Luc Besson's film The Messenger are just 2 examples. And yes, she even appears in video games like Civilization VI and Fate Grand Order. But these portrayals often raise more questions than answers. Is Joan depicted as a divine hero, a tragic victim, or something in between? Joan's story resonates even now. She's a feminist icon, a national hero, and a reminder of the power of conviction. Her life challenges us to consider the thin line between faith and fanaticism, between justice and politics. And her trial, with all its irregularities and motives, serves as a cautionary tale about power and manipulation. So, was Joan of Arc truly a saint, Or was she a pawn in a larger game of politics and power? Maybe the answer lies somewhere in the middle. But one thing is certain, her story continues to inspire, challenge, and mystify us. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.